So I don't normally read like the blurb or the description of a book in videos, but with this one, it's kind of hard to describe. So I feel like that's a good way to start as any. When the guardian of the West Passage died in her bed, the women of Grey Tower fed her to the crows and went back to their chores. No successor was named as guardian. No one took up the fallen blade. The West Passage went unguarded. Now, snow blankets gray in the height of summer, foretelling the coming of the beast. The two young mother of Grey House and the guardian's unnamed squire set out to save their people. Their narrow shoulders bear a heavy burden. Before them lies the West Passage, home to horrors and delights that defy imagining. None can say if they'll reach their destinations, but one thing is for sure, the world is about to change. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about The West Passage by Jared Pechacek. I don't actually, Pechacek. I don't know how to say this last name. I've just realized. Never tried to say it out loud. But this is an interesting book. This is very odd and weird, very intentionally in the way that this is written. And it is definitely one of those books where I feel like it's more about the atmosphere and the experience than specifically anything else. It's one of those books that tends to be kind of hit or miss for me, and this one I ended up enjoying, but it's hard to predict, I feel like, if you will like this or not. Like, trying to recommend, they're hard ones to do, so it's something that maybe just give a shot if what we talk about sounds interesting to you. But this is the second book in my little fun project where I'm reading books that are favorites from some booktube friends of mine without telling them, and so I'll link to the main video where I kind of reveal that and do a little overview of each, but then this is going to be the more in-depth talking about the book, and this is different. So I read the synopsis to give you kind of an idea, although even that I feel like doesn't tell you a ton really of what's happening. Like the writing style is very intentionally weird and kind of odd with what's happening here in the descriptions of what's going on, but we're following Pell, who is the heir to the mother of Grey House, and then although it said unnamed in the synopsis, but it's considered a non-name, Q, who is like the apprentice to the guardian, and they're in Grey House. We don't know a ton about that immediately. We're kind of figuring it out, and we know that there's the West Passage and it needs to be guarded because the beast may come through. Most everything else we slowly are figuring out as we go along. So I'm not going to do a ton of details because this is, again, the type of thing that you just want to explore. But it's like the setup is, it's this sort of like castle palace type of place that's the size of a city, and there are all of these different colors that divide it. So there's like the yellow tower, and there's the blue area, and it's also in charge of these places. Well, most of them anyway are the sisters, who are these very powerful beings that have powerful magic, but there's also talk people are like, they take on the name as they take on the role, and names are really, really important here as well. And so like the mother of Grey House at the start is the 75th person to bear that name and kind of take that role. And you'll have other people that have like numbers after their names, because not everybody gets a name. As mentioned, it's very much not the case, and names are very significant here. Now, the comparison that this immediately brings to me is Mordu by Alex Phoebe, which I did not care for ultimately. Although the thing there was the early part where it was just these odd, weird descriptions. That's really what it reminded me of. I felt like plot-wise, that one went in directions that just made it feel a bit more generic instead of keeping up with just the weird uniqueness of it all and not leaning in. And I believe both this and that were somewhat inspired by Titus Groan. I've not yet read that yet, though I meant to get to that a couple months ago and did not, in fact, get to it. But I still really need to read that because I'm so curious just to see, because I know some of these are, I think, supposed to have some inspiration there, but I'm not really sure and can't speak too much since I haven't read it. But this is just kind of one of those things that it's definitely not your typical type of a fantasy book, and it definitely, I think, still counts as fantasy, but it has more of a feel of like just like weird speculative fantasy type of thing. And the setting is kind of a character all to itself. And so there are, similar to like in Mordu, there was like the ocean would wash up all these weird things. Here you have miracles, which they're called miracles because they seem to be created sort of like by magic or like the byproducts of magic or such. But these can be extremely strange things that just either maybe they're objects of power, maybe they're like odd, monstrous creatures. There's all of these weird things that are created. But again, like ultimately at the heart of the story is two people who are forced to take over with really no preparation, very important roles that even maybe they don't realize how important, and are trying to get help for their house, the Gray House, and going on a journey, and they end up getting wound up in all kinds of different things. And again, this is like there is a plot, but it's very meandering, and you don't necessarily know where it's going to go or what's even happening at points, because this is very much more about the journey, the very weird and wild journey. I said that it feels like the setting is a character, and I feel like that's so much of it. Is you're going, you're exploring, you're seeing them. You meet some very odd characters along the way, and there's nobody here that's not strange or twisted in some way. And it's just it's fascinating to just immerse yourself into this, and go from there. I did do because this is a library copy, as you may have seen when I held it before. I did do a mix of reading this, and the narrator for this is Steve West, who I quite like, so I did some of that as well. And I tried out doing some immersion reading, which I don't do a ton, but for this, immersing yourself into it, I think, is a really good way to do it. So I even though I'm not usually much of an immersion reader, I do recommend that for this, just because it's so strange, and it kind of was a rewarding experience. But I'm gonna pop open just randomly, and just read a passage, completely random here, just for an idea of how this goes. So here's a good one. The miracles of yellow were different from those of gray. Naturally, another lineage of ladies had made them. But they were likewise odd. A knife whose handle was blanketed with two soft, warm ears, a bowl holding a chilly marble white hand and a single die, a pink bagpipe with threads of steam rising from its mouthpiece. Yarrow used a snapped-off table leg to prod each miracle before touching it with her hands. None of them reacted strongly. The worst was a slight twitch from the white hand. That was good. No miracles that came from this horrible tower could possibly be pleasant. Just like, so odd. And again, I feel like just doing that's a good thing. And that was completely, I just turned somewhere random in the book, so I made sure there was no spoilers to give a quick scan. But very odd, and that's kind of the thing again. This is just, if you want to go on a wild experience that's not quite like anything else you've probably read, like I said, immediately it made me think of something else that was also just equally odd, although they have very different feels overall and very different ideas and characters and plots. But this is just the kind of book, if you want to try something totally different, and just really immerse yourself in a weird world, just to find out what's going to happen and be along for the ride with the characters, I do recommend this. This is just I don't know. I feel like you probably need to be in the mood of it. I do want to just note too, because the cover art here is really cool as well. Lots of different colors and just kind of some crazy things happening here, and the chaotic, all of this different stuff going on fits the book really, really well. But like I said, this is a hard one to talk about because it is just so strange and unique, but there's something that was just compelling about going along as well too. And you're finding out more, and there's the mysterious aspect of it, because the characters you're following, they don't have a lot of information. They're not entirely sure what they're doing, what they're going to need, and so you have those elements of the mystery and the exploration and just discovering this world. And these characters as well, they're very naive about anything that happens outside of their world, and so that's also, that discovery is there happening, but you're getting it along with them. And so I think it works well. Again, it's hard for me to say like, oh, this is going to work really well for this type of reader. I recommend just giving this one a shot. Sample it, see what you think if you happen to see a copy, or like, sample the ebook or the audio or something, and just give it a shot and see, because I think this is definitely worth experiencing and just giving a shot to, because it is just such a unique type of book. It's not the thing I'm in the mood for all the time, but this was just kind of jumping in. And again, the thing is too, the hard thing was I couldn't talk to anybody about it, because the whole point of it is this was one of the books I was reading secretly and not telling anybody, and I just kept wanting to send a message over to Rapid and be like, what is happening here? What am I reading with this book? So this would have been really fun to talk about while I was reading it. So if you do read it, make sure to come in the Discord and talk about it, because I would love to have that discussion. Or if you've read it too, let me know, talk to. But yeah, this was a really hard one to not talk about because it was so strange, and I just kept wanting to give people excerpts or talk about it. So for that, it wasn't the greatest pick for this, but I'm really glad that I did pick it, because I was curious about this and some other books that I'd seen Rabin recommend, but I know he really loved this one, and that's why I picked it for this. And I just it was such an experience, It's hard to describe, but definitely check this one out. And even if you're disappointed, it'll be an interesting experience. And I feel like you'll be able to figure out pretty quickly if this is going to work for you or not. It is very atmospheric. It's very odd, but it just depends if you get in and you feel like it immerses you. And I think otherwise you'll enjoy the journey, even if you just come out of it being like, that was weird. It is super weird, but there's some really cool things. It has all kinds of just the unexpected, even just with the base of it, and the mysterious, and the way it ends up turning out, it just makes you really curious to see more of the world. So I think it accomplished what it set out to do. That's it for this one, though. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description, as always, for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.